There are 14th Amendment citizens. This is the Constitution.
Listen, the most lawless people of America are in government. Anyone in government who does not uphold the Constitution, both state and federal, are lawless.
My name is Christopher Bronstein. I live in New Hampshire. Live free or die, you know.
He has helped Americans from around the world eliminate their income tax liability through his passport process.
It's like once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it. It's just there, okay?
You always wanting something.
All right, welcome to Destination Freedom. Tonight we have a special broadcast and I got a special friend here. This is Greg Linland, and that's exciting. One of the things we can do is you can see this number up here, and you can see how many people are with us live here. We are going to do a live broadcast tomorrow night, but this is a special time. And Greg here, I've known him for I don't know how many years. It's been quite a few.
Yeah.
And we're here in New Hampshire.
Maybe 20 years, something like that.
It's been at least that.
Something like that.
It's been a great journey, and so Greg spends most of his time in Belize. He's has his Dutch wife at what's her name again?
Liberty.
All right,
I finally found my liberty. Give me liberty or give me death.
which
I told her when I met her.
How's it going so far?
So far, so good. Yeah.
You're still here. But anyway, so he comes in from time to time and stays, and we get to hang out and chit chat and have a good time. So, and that's what we're doing. And so I said, well, we should just get together and talk, because we don't always talk about. It's two things that we always avoid: religion and politics and sex. No, we don't ever do that. Those are the only things we talk about. So and so I said, well, we're going to do a talk here. So we'll get into talking, and it'll get heated, or it'll
No holds barred, my friends.
And
we
so
will
we'll
talk
say,
about whatever comes to our mind.
and we'll say, well, we'll just hold that energy down. We'll just leave it here. So we had some pizza tonight, and we're drinking some. We won't give any.
You don't want to promote the company?
Well, who knows? They may shut us down.
It is an Oktoberfest.
That's right. So
I'll hold the label facing me so you can't see it.
but it's something New Englandish. So, but yeah, I just wanted to spend some time talking about it. Can we lose that?
It's probably my phone. Yeah, just mute it.
Okay.
Bottom right button, I think.
But if I wanted to talk about some things that are going on in the world, things like that, and then some of the stuff that we feel passionate about and things that. Did that work okay? That's good. So anyway, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So
let's get started.
Yeah, one of the things that is kind of cool is you're very vocal on the Destination Freedom Telegram group.
I am indeed. Yeah.
And of course, during all that COVID crap, I just get tired of it. And most of the time, I like on that channel, we'll talk about state citizenship stuff, but a lot of people talk about freedom and things like that. And of course, health freedom is big for you and for a lot of people. So people have a lot of sentiment up there. And I can't always govern what goes on in that channel. And there's, every once in a while you get some.
Sometimes it gets a little bit off track.
And then
I invite people to come to my Telegram group, which is called Truths, Theories, and Other Things. And other interesting stuff or something like that. And so you can
sort of
check that out.
There? Is there something?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 members, something like that. So yeah, it's a good group.
Well, that's good.
And that it has no specific agenda,
right,
other than trying to seek truth, right? So
cool.
For me, I don't care what skin color you are, what religion you are, what nationality you are, what background you are, what tribe you are, what gender you are, what sex you are. I don't give a shit what you are. But what I do care about is what kind of person you are. And that would be a person who has integrity and seeks truth, and is willing to love, be loved, is compassionate, and empathetic, and most of all, that respects the human rights of all citizens of the planet. Human rights, civil rights, which are not granted by government, but are given to us by virtue of our creator, whatever we perceive that creator to be. So that to me is
Well,
the
you-
most important
You
thing. And
travel
so,
a lot. I mean, when
travel a
you're-
lot. And well, yeah,
So
I
when
mean,
you
we're-
travel,
we're in
you
Belize about 9 months out of the year, at least. And then for 2.5, 3 months, we travel.
do you sense that when you're traveling that people want to fight and all that stuff?
No.
Or do people want to
No.
enjoy themselves?
Most people
And-
want
and
peace
love
in their
each other,
lives. They want their kids to grow up healthy and in a good environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people,
You know
regardless.
who warmongers are? I mean, government's warmonger. What
Listen,
the hell is that all about?
Listen, we go to
I mean, you know
Muslim
it's central,
countries,
yeah.
we go to Buddhist countries, we go to Hindu countries, we go to countries that have all different religious and ethnic backgrounds, and we always find the people to be absolutely lovely,
Yeah.
wonderful people. I think people in general, regardless of their nationality, religion, or skin color, what have you, are good people. They, unfortunately, because our nations, our countries, our governments are dishonest, obfuscate the truth. Much of what we see around us in the world, what we hear on the news, is an illusion. It's just not true. History we learn in school, the bulk of it is not accurate, because after all, history is written by the victors and the wealthy, the kings, the queens, the pharaohs, whomever. So most of the history that I learned in high school, I have discovered was at the very least incomplete, and at most likely probably just false. And so so it's important, I think, to seek truth at all cost.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think is really important is that, they say, be the change you want to see in the world. Well, that means that every decision you make, every product you buy in the supermarket, every single choice you make throughout your life is critical to uphold your principles.
Yeah.
And a lot of people speak and say, oh, I believe this, I believe that, I believe this, and believe that, but they don't live it.
Mm.
They don't live it. Every choice you make is important. And yes, we co-create our lives, and the choices and decisions we make, like I like to say, the destinies of tomorrow are determined by the decisions of today. So that's kind of my idea.
Yeah.
And it's not always smooth going. I believe if you live true to that and those principles, you will have a life of tremendous wealth. Maybe not rich, but wealth. And I believe I am extremely wealthy. I'm not a rich man, but my life is truly wealthy, and that's really it's a blessing.
I like that about you.
Yeah.
No, it's great. That sometimes is a challenge that in people in our freedom circles and what have you. Some people have an energy of wanting to fight against their government and all. And listen, I pray that we don't find ourselves in our local areas literally fighting like founding fathers fought against tyranny. But history has shown that those things have to come if people don't make these changes while we're at peace, if you will. Who was it? Was it that
Frederick Douglass?
Frederick Douglass. Here, right here, yeah. He says.
He said
here's
it
one.
all.
He says. I'll get down here. It says, well, let me give you a word of the philosophy of reform. The whole history of the progress of human liberty shows that all concessions yet made to her august claims have been born of earnest struggle. The conflict, you can relate to this, the conflict has been exciting, agitating, all absorbing, and for the time being putting all of the tumults to silence. It must do this or it does nothing. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. And let me just, before I go into that, is like, and although he may be talking about political struggle, if you want freedom in your own life, it only comes through responsibility, at least for yourself, certainly responsible for your family, responsible for your community. There is certainly others in that beauty, but the idea is that there's a struggle to perfection, to keeping up things, to maintaining good things requires work. And if you don't want to do that work, it's not going to go well. It's going to, life is not going to get better if you don't steward the different areas of your life, and that's in and around you, inside and out. Sure. So that's there. And so I recognize that struggle. Some people just avoid struggle at all costs. Mm-hmm. So they're willing to compromise. That's not good. So he continues and says, Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its waters. This struggle may be a moral one, or it may be a physical one, or it may be both moral and physical, but it must be a struggle. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Find out just what people will submit to, and you'll have found the exact amount of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them, and these will continue until they're resisted with either words or blows, or with both. Here's just the limits of tyrants are prescribed by those in whom they oppress. I mean, this is 1857.
Yeah.
It's still true today. These are principles. So, so that's where we're at, and so we work on that in our own lives best we can, and then we encourage you to do the same. So we'll talk a little bit about some current events and talk about that and our sentiment. So what's going on in the world right now? I'm going to say, regardless of whether the media discloses it, I mean, here, let me give you an example of a certain level of bullshit that's going on out there. It says, are we in a recession yet? I mean, like, they never, ever are going to say, yes, we're in a recession. It's like, we're leading to a recession. And then you may be in a recession. Of course, we're never going to be in a depression. You'll never recall. We'll look back and say, yeah, that was a depression, or whatever it is. And it's like, they never, ever say it. Listen, life is beautiful in every administration. And, that's what they do, because there's a certain level of bullcrap.
Inflation is out of control.
This is a banking collapse in 2025. This is it. You're in the midst of a banking collapse. Yeah. And there's things that are known in history. This is not, there may be a banking collapse. And of course, it had been coming a long time. But they
just keep bailing them out. They just keep bailing the banks out.
Well, yeah.
Right. And then they keep chipping away the rules. So the banks no longer have to hold any reserve when they get these billions of dollars from the Federal Reserve System. They just pump them up with print more money, quantitative easing and all that shit. And they give it to the bank, and the bank no longer has to hold that 10% reserve. We used to have a reserve system, and now they don't have to have any reserve at all. So they can just pump it all out, credits. So they're just expanding the credit market, printing more money, ensuring that the Middle East remains completely destabilized by supporting Israel at any cost. And so by doing so, they're ensured that they're going to maintain complete disruption in all of the Middle East. What does that do? That maintains and ensures that oil prices are low. And so,
which is tied to the dollar,
the petrodollar, the reserve currency of the world. Everybody has to buy their oil in dollars. So they can just keep printing the money.
But even this administration, the American sentiment hope was, for Trump to drain.
Don't even get me started on Trump.
Hold on. Drain the swamp, right? And yet, this Congress still expanded, went beyond wasn't there a ceiling?
Yeah, his big beautiful bill.
So
bullshit. Anybody who thought Trump was going to change anything, the same are just as ignorant as the people who thought Obama was going to change anything.
Exactly.
Hope and change. Trump is part. He may not be a politician per se, but he's a corporatist. And we already have a corporatist state. United States is a fascist nation. It is run by corporations. The corporations fund our politicians. They fuel the healthcare system, all big pharma. It's not healthcare. It's about disease management. And the military industrial complex, $1 trillion a year. We drone who we want. We assassinate who we want. We bomb who we want.
And we call that America.
And it's all corporate. 60% of the military budget annually is independent contractors, right? We were a corporatist state, and Mussolini, the father of fascism, said himself that true fascism is the merger of state and corporate power. That's exactly what we have. I mean, look at what happened during COVID. Anthony Fauci, who's been funneling billions of dollars back and forth between the National Institute of Health and all these corporations, and then doing all this gain of function shit in China because he was told by the CDC that you got to stop this gain of function stuff. It's illegal. So he sends it over to China to do it instead. It's all corporate money, the revolving door between all the federal agencies and the corporation. We are, by definition, a fascist republic.
Well, I assert
We're not
that
a
we are
country. The United States
practicing.
is not a country.
We are practicing communism.
Marxism, for sure.
America has adopted all 10 planks.
Most of the 10
communist-
planks.
all of them. Every
Well,
single.
to some degree.
I
Anyway.
mean, they're practicing. I mean, I have a list. We see
7 of the 10, almost 100%.
I don't. Which one?
Yeah.
Which plank didn't they adopt?
I don't know. You have to give me the list.
No, I mean,
had them
I've seen the
memorized.
list. I've already got them all up there. All
Yeah,
10
I've gone through them all
are
several
there.
times.
You know, so again, people think land of the free, home of the brave, and then you're going to get stupid Americans who would say something like, well, if you don't like this crappy,
Just
you know, if you don't
leave.
like, you just leave. It's like, well, where's our birthright, our love? I love America and the beauty of America. American people are some of the most benevolent people on the planet.
The
So-
Declaration of Independence was a magnificent document.
Absolutely.
And I believe
Hmm.
that it is the founding document of these United States of
I
America.
agree.
And while they attempted to codify it in the Constitution, they did a kind of a shitty job. And okay, I get it. Nobody's perfect, you know, but I still believe that I know that you would argue with me, and many people would argue with me, that the Declaration of Independence is not a legal document. But the idea that it is the founding document of the United States of America, really, I think it has, you know, tremendous merit and strength. And the idea that all men are created equal, just take that right there. All men are created equal, right? And that you know, governments are instituted among men to do what?
Drive their you're talking about governments?
Governments are instituted among men
driving their just power by the consent of the government.
to do what? To protect
No,
rights,
secure.
to secure our rights. So all
That's
men
the
are
only-
endowed by their
that's
creator
the
with certain
only-
inalienable rights, life, liberty, and
That's the
pursuit of
only
happiness.
purpose of
And to secure these rights,
secure-
governments are instituted among men. Right. So that's the prime directive for
for government all over the
government
world.
in America, in the United States of America,
Right.
is to protect
No.
individual
No, no.
rights.
It says when in the course of human events it becomes necessary. So it's not talking about America at all. It's talking about
Well,
the whole
globally,
world.
all men are created equal.
Right. They're talking about
So,
the whole
so
world.
those rights
So
that
that's
are
it.
that we are
Everyone
guaranteed
has
or
an-
supposed to be guaranteed to be protected.
all people have
those are for every man.
That's correct.
But you know, but that's
Worldwide.
not what the United States government, military especially, says. They say, well, if you're not a U.S. citizen, we don't have to protect your constitutional rights. They're not constitutional rights; they're human rights.
Well, they are, and that's
So-
they disregard the Declaration of Independence. It's
Yeah.
just sad. We have
Yeah.
a bunch of questions that come up too. Do you want to?
Are we taking questions?
Well, they do come up. These don't. So enabling Act of 1889. Congress specifically cites the Declaration of Independence. It is a legal document. I mean, I don't really
I
care
agree.
whether it's legal because slavery was legal. I don't really care if it's a legal document. Lawful. I mean, listen. It's not. It's just declaring a truth that they determine self-evident. Of course, listen. That document moved the 13 original colonies from being colonies of
Great Britain.
of the Great Britain and the state of Great Britain to becoming free and independent, having full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliance, and do all other things that free and independent states have a right to do. So the Declaration of Independence is America's
we hold
birth
these truths to be
certificate.
self-evident.
It's its birth certificate
Self-evident. Yeah, right.
of these states, these original colonies.
Right.
And every colony that requests to come into the union by the consent of the other states, their representatives,
Mhm.
are on the same footing as those same original
13
states.
yeah.
That's a reality. And this is long before, not long, but before there was a federal government.
Mhm.
There was, shortly thereafter, there were Articles of Confederation. So we've always been a confederation of states. But again, America's not a country, folks. And listen, I say it too.
Mhm.
I say use the word country because it's so ingrained.
Mhm.
Do you think that was an accident? You know damn well the European Union would love to be our union, their union on steroids, which is what our government is.
Right.
They don't have a fascist military that we have worldwide. It's
Right.
just dreadful.
Well, yeah, and like
So-
you say, European countries, they're part of the European Union, but the European Union is not a country. So
No.
why is the United States of America
Of
a
course,
country?
it's just practiced that way.
It
It's the
isn't.
way people think. It is not that way in law. Every one of these states or countries has a legislative, executive, and judicial branch. They have a State Department. They're all equal members of the Hague Convention.
Yeah.
They're countries.
Yeah. No
Listen,
question.
I'm born in Philadelphia. My nationality, these are nations. My nationality is Pennsylvanian by birth. Now, Greg here, he was born to American parents abroad. He was born in Belgium.
Oui, oui. Je parle français très bien.
Well, some of those speak French, but anyway. But the idea is that these are countries, and embrace them, and then you get to enjoy. Like that's why we have the bumper sticker, "Make America States Again." You know, that's what I.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good.
Yeah.
thing.
So here's the question: as a
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
know, what do you call yourself? Not not an anarchist, but a
Well, they say minarchist.
minarchist.
That's
Okay.
what others label me as a
So-
minarchist. Wait, I'd say finish your thought, and then we'll get this question.
Oh, okay. So a libertarian, I guess, for lack of a better word to use, a minarchist, someone who is not an anarchist but believes in the smallest possible government. So the greatest governing part of a person's life should be themselves,
Sure.
and then their family, and then their community,
Yeah.
and then their county, and then their state, and so forth, and less and less and less and less. Right. So
Right.
so
That's
you're
what I
at the
believe.
bottom. You're having the most
Top.
power, or the top, but that would be an
But-
upside down pyramid,
Or
right?
whatever it
The
is.
most power
The
is
greatest
you,
power
and
is
then the
you,
very bottom
the
is
individual.
right.
Well, that's what I like about
It's an
my
inverted triangle. is
my
what it should
flag.
be.
my
But they got to
flag.
flip the other way.
No, I know my flag. You know, I'm not flying it right now, but the top of my flag is the what do they call the Gaddis flag. The "Don't tread on me." That's a big yellow one,
Mhm.
and that's a nice large. I don't know, 4 by 6 feet.
Mhm.
Then under that is the New Hampshire flag, smaller, 3 by 5 or whatever.
Mhm.
Then I have like an 18-inch American flag, and it offends all these people that are, you know, don't burn my flag kind of a thing.
You know,
there.
Trump's trying to pass a law again.
Yeah,
to not
it's, like,
burn the
it's
flag.
just great. Don't burn the flag. You know, listen,
Egotists.
listen. You know, when you're traveling to foreign lands, don't burn their flags. It's not very nice of them, but the Supreme Court has said that you can piss on it. They
Yeah,
somehow said you can
burn
do
it.
that, or you can if
it's
you
expression
can
of
you
free
can
speech.
defile Christianity. You can anybody can defile anything with Christianity because we take it on the chin all the time. But you know, so listen, people.
Don't get me
it
started
might
on
be a bad-
Christianity, Chris.
No, we won't.
Okay.
But anyway, so not qualified to have that discussion, are you?
I don't know. I know a lot of people who call themselves Christian, but I don't know a lot of
I
Christians.
know. That's fair enough. So, but again, you know, you can offend them. You're in the worst class of people. Well, I am, not you. I am a Christian white male, so I'm the worst of worst. We get no protections. But you, well, you know, you're
I'm an agnostic.
fair enough.
I recognize that nothing comes from nothing, but I don't try to define what it comes
like
from.
that, right?
Right? I am not that egotistical.
Okay.
And I embrace the principles behind most religions, their core values, but they've become no better than corporations, or they become churches, and these churches have to spread their word and promote themselves just like a company does. And then
And that's sad. Again, that's-
my God is better than your God, and you
it's
know my penis is bigger than
competition.
yours. It's all
That's
just
It's
crazy
just bad.
stuff. So
It's
I
not.
don't.
It's
I
not
don't,
the way it was supposed to be.
I know, and
So that's
I
cool.
believe very much in. I don't think God is
Let's
love.
take
I
a
think love
quick-
is God.
Okay, there you go. What was that question? What was that question we had back then? Can we do? Let's get some questions. Can't be repugnant to the principles of Declaration. Okay, Congress declared. Okay, that's great. I'll be arguing states' primary judicial authority to the U.S. Supreme Court. Oh, cool.
Sweet.
I'm guessing that's Phil. Is it Phil? Yeah, I know Phil. He's a good guy. So good to have you on here tonight. When I get over into Washington State again, we'll come visit. We'll hook up and do some dinner. That'll be fun. That's good. Yes, we're praying for your success. Man, that's ratcheting up. Been at that for a number of years. Thankful for your stand. It helps everyone, believe it or not. You do know that. All right. So what is we got another comment, another question, or then there was Mark who's posted that stuff about Paymont and all that stuff. Yeah. So anything else? No, we're good. All right, let's go.
Let's keep going.
So anyway, yeah. I was gonna say that. So we were talking about the banking collapse. One of the things that I like is at least for what we do is the idea of using. A lot of times people when they're dealing with government, they don't like something government's doing. They're like waiting for the government to stop doing it before something good comes about. So at any time, a good principle is if you think what the government is doing is funky, then start doing something else and just show the better results. That's always better. You don't have to wait for them to stop doing that, which is what I like about cryptocurrency. And of course, that's a whole nother subject matter about that, because of course, government wants to get into that. They're going to do the same things. They have stable coins that are connected to the dollar. That's why you call them stable coins, because they're connected to the dollar. All I see is that meme that I have where the Titanic is going down, the front of it's going down, and the back of the Titanic is coming up like this. And then someone put the dollar in the back and went, hey, look, the dollar's rising. So that's
Listen, the banks aren't going to collapse as long as
there's full faith and credit.
Well, as long as the people keep paying their taxes on their labor and their businesses and everything else, all these unconstitutional collected taxes. Yeah. I know they're constitutional because there are 2 United States.
They're choosing that
subject. There are 3 legal definitions for the United States. But my point is that as long as people keep feeding the dragon, and as long as people keep believing in the dragon, and as long as people keep doing what they've been doing for the last 200 plus years, then the banks are going to stay open, because the Federal Reserve, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, all owned, by the way, by the same 8 banks, Zionist banks, they'll just keep kicking the can down the road, and they'll just keep going. Now, something has got to eventually topple the house of cards. And the question is,
would you say?
What is that going to be?
Do you think they'll do another
quantitative
virus thing?
Oh, no. Virus thing. Oh, for sure they're going to try another virus.
They're trying to do that.
Yeah. So, I've had this discussion.
Will you fall for it?
Fuck
again?
no.
Okay.
I never got injected. I will never get injected.
Yeah.
I won't wear a mask.
Yeah. We never wore masks.
No, I lost a lot of friends during COVID, because
we had a good time.
I recognized right away that it was a scam, just as I recognized 9/11 was a scam. The minute I was watching the building fall, I said, that's an implosion. Buildings don't fall like that. And the guy standing with me, what do you mean? That was planned. That was planned. That was a planned implosion. He goes, really? I said, yeah, buildings don't fall like that. But anyway, so COVID was the same thing. Immediately I recognized it. So I immediately began posting. And at the time I was on Facebook. And man, I got friends just jumping down my throat. And I just stood my ground and said, this is a scam. Yep. This is bullshit. This is a pandemic. And, wait till you see what they do. And sure enough, just as I said when I watched 9/11, towers falling, I said, wait till you see what they do. Well, it brought us the Patriot Act, the National Defense Authorization Act, CIA, NSA spying and monitoring all your phone calls and all that shit, emails and everything else. So
they took the enemy took great ground, and it wasn't in the ground taken wasn't in the actual structure of the building coming down. It was in the law that was already waiting in the wings. Yeah, who is it? Actually got all 3. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's sad. Sad to say. Good luck. Keep detoxing, my friend, whoever that was. That's good. Well, that's good. How many people accept the false scan at the airport? The facial scan. I lack confidence. People resist it. They're like, yeah, I've seen them when you're standing out there, they want to do it. But I heard from somebody that you can opt out of the facial, because look, you're giving them your face on your passport. They can look at that. So the next time we travel, be okay with that? We're not going to do the face. You can videotape me.
Take a good look.
Yeah, they can recognize it. So, but anyway,
don't do the radio wave thing either, because you don't know what the fuck the long-term consequences of that are. So I opt out of that always.
So who is that? Who's saying that? Is that? Oh, it's the same. Now George Soros speaks to me. This guy's trolling. He's all right. He's trolling.
Soros.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is fun. All right. That's good. All right. We know how to handle trolls. Clip clop, clip clop. No, it's all good. No, it's like they just want. The bad part about doing too much of the trolling is you're not going to get on the screen. That's the bad part. So anyway, it's all good. But no, we had a great time. We launched a dinner party. In New Hampshire, when we did a New Year's event and some other events, in New Hampshire, you could be a part of smaller groups, but any group over 100 was illegal. So we made sure we had someone at the door counting.
Oh, you're talking about during COVID?
Yeah. So we could get to 100, so our groups would be, would be illegal. And of course, we did them anyway. So it didn't matter. We just had a grand old time, and it was a good thing.
New Hampshire was one of the states
that
didn't crack down crazily.
If you do the radio thing, they're looking at your passport. What does that I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Okay, that's yeah. These statements. I mean, they get on the screen, but they don't get on that thing. That's all good. So anyway, I'm gonna go. We do the radio thing. No, we don't do any radio thing. We're on TV. So this is TV. So anyway,
YouTube is scanning.
So yeah,
faces
I'm
right now.
listen. It's gonna be my joy to resist.
I'm not hiding.
Whatever's.
Listen, if they want to
looking forward
scan my face, fuck you, scan my face. I'm not hiding from anybody. You're not hiding from anybody.
But you can opt out.
We're just speaking the truth.
I'm just gonna opt out.
And whatever. You want to take a scan of my face, good for you.
Well, do you go through the metal detector? Not the metal detector. The X-ray thing.
No, I just said that, the radio wave thing. No, I haven't. I've never done that.
Oh, well,
The guy said it was just radio waves. I said, yeah. Well, do you know what happens when you're bombarded with radio waves? I said, I travel a lot. So over the course of 20 years, and I've been bombarded with your radio wave. Do you know what the long-term health effects are of it? He goes, well, no, but they're just radio waves. I said, you know what? I'm opting out.
They're invisible. They don't hurt. Oh,
really? Yeah.
It's just bad. So, but no, what I do is I usually, now here's the secret that they told me is that don't opt out, like say, hey, I'd like to opt out. Wait and wait and wait. Because when there's a line forming, they may wave you through the metal detector and just go through. You don't have to get pat down. But see, what happens is I'm cheap. So what I do is I like the massage as a part of my TSA game thing. So I like to get pat down.
I always ask him, I say, I want that pretty girl over there.
So I wear my shirt that says, I don't get much affection at home. That's why I'm here. So I like to, but here's the secret though. When I asked the guy last time, I said, like, would it matter if I told you I identified as a woman? Could I get a woman? He says,
that pretty girl?
No, I like, man, you're really insensitive. And so if you can choose what guy's going to pat you down, here's my suggestion. Get a good looking black guy. Because if you get an older guy, like a good looking black guy is going to pat you down fat, like, and you're done. That's going to be awesome. Because he's not lingering. Now that guy that's over 50, he's been waiting for you. And he's like, he's feeling stuff and was like, whoa, what's that? I'm like, that's my God-given purpose.
Well, I told you what happened to me, right?
But no, so he says he had to get a second opinion. I'm like, really? I'm getting the full massage here. So yeah, they did that. So it was just really bad. Can you guys think this means the Department of Justice and federal judges refuse to recognize this? I'm not sure what this is. Oh, did they? He typed in. I'm going to read the statutes and codes tonight. The United States hereby releases and releases all claims of the United States if it has for money the damages arising. That's Phil? Phil, listen, these they'll make it up on the screen there, but. You want to get into talking about now what we should do, Phil, is bring you in what we'll do is here. There's a dog barking outside. What we'll do, Phil, maybe, I don't know, sooner than later, let's bring you on and we'll have you talk about your whole thing on the Phil's a client. And we'll talk about the EPA and all the stuff you've done. That'll be a good release for you. You need a release.
EPA, federal agency, not created through a congressional act, but rather created by executive order.
Right.
Much like the CIA and the
But
NSA,
Phil has got a great case he's winning.
And the FCC,
oh, yeah,
all executive created by the president, who is not allowed to make law in these states.
Of course.
And yet there
but
you have them.
Phil's the expert on the subject. He's dealing with this stuff in Washington State. So he's got a good RICO win that he's going to do. So will you be up for that? Is to come on Destination Freedom. We can talk about all your legal stuff and the things we've talked about for years. You've been at this how many years now? It's got to be like 7 years or so. It's because I'm sure it started before the COVID crap. All right. So anyway, I wanted to say that to you, Phil. So I get into reading statute and code while we're on the show. So getting back to, so I think they're probably going to do and see if they can scare everybody again. I don't know that it's not going to happen the same way. And look, if the federal judge says they're not going to mask people on these airplanes, then you know what? I think that's a game changer. It's not going to go back the other way. I don't see that as happening. It'll be something different. That's what I think. So hopefully it won't be the same crap.
Absolutely stunning to me that the U.S. Supreme Court allowed the President of the United States, Biden, to mandate that all federal employees be vaccinated.
Oh,
Now, how the fuck is
you mean
that
like
possible?
you mean like my body, my
Now,
choice?
here's the thing: the court ruled that American citizens or citizens of the states could not be mandated to be vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because you can't compel people.
Okay. Well,
to.
why could he then compel people that work for the federal government? Why? Because they have only rights and privileges. They have only
Privileged
privileges and
immunities, right?
immunities.
So they would
granted by
consider.
the
Now
federal-
imagine that it
They're
says
U.S.
immunities,
federal citizens,
which
that's
is
right.
protections. But imagine them alleging that the vaccine protects somebody. What?
Well, no, that's a whole other issue.
I mean, I'm just
but the
saying.
fact that the
it's like,
Supreme Court,
well, they're
they
just
know
guys.
that.
They're just people.
they know that there are federal citizens and state citizens.
Well, I know they know that.
And so they were saying you cannot impose it on the state citizens,
That's correct.
the citizens of these United States of America,
Right.
but you can impose it on those federal citizens.
Well, they do
who are
have
getting
exclusive
privileges
legislative authority in
from
all
the-
cases whatsoever. That is the
Right.
Constitution.
So, I mean,
sad to
if
say.
anybody ever doubted that that was in fact the reality, that there are two, and by the way, I have at least a dozen, as you Supreme Court decisions who state clearly that after the 14th Amendment, there are two classes of citizens,
Yeah, we got dozens
state
of them.
citizens
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
federal citizens. And it's unquestionable. George Washington, James
Right.
Madison, John Adams, none of them were U.S. citizens. So this new U.S. citizen was a brand new thing. And and if there's anybody that doubts that, all you got to do is look at what happened during COVID.
Oh yeah,
Biden was
that's
able to mandate it for government, not for citizens of the states. So
That's true. No, I know. So to bring that to light, so maybe in New Hampshire when I do the Supreme Court case, we're going to present some of this data. That'll be great. And so if a Supreme Court in New Hampshire is looking at that same data, that'll become commonplace.
and by the way, Trump's no better because it wouldn't surprise me if Trump would do the same thing if something happened again. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
The good thing about Trump is that I get this. No, I was talking about like ending the Fed, and
Not going to happen.
and I and
He won't even release the JFK papers because what he said was, if I did, you wouldn't.
They say that all the time. It's like it'll
I
cause.
can't. Is
It's
what he
gonna.
said. I
It's
can't.
gonna cause
The
too much
information
trouble.
is too damaging. Yeah,
Oh, give
Yeah.
me a break.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they always say.
yeah. Because it
Are
was
they
an
going to
inside.
release the papers?
It was an inside job, by the way.
Of course,
It was an inside job.
Anyway, we won't digress into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to come. And so ultimately, the banking collapse. I don't know when.
You keep saying the
actual
banking
thing-
collapse. So when do you think the banking collapse is going to happen?
Well, there's
'Cause,
two,
I know
there's two things I'm looking for.
People have been talking about
to
the
call-
banking
Well, let me
collapse
just say the
for
two things that
40
I'll
years.
talk about the collapse. And one is that I imagine will come. One is the stock market taking a tank. That's one. And the other thing is the housing market. The housing prices cannot stay this bloated. Nobody
The
can
balloon will
afford
pop
that.
and it'll go
And
down.
then
and
they're going to have to go down.
Bail banks out and they'll bail
Well,
them
I know,
out
but
again.
that's
And
the
instead of
that'll be
being,
the collapse.
instead of being $34 trillion in debt, will be $44 trillion.
But I mean,
and they'll just keep bailing them out.
are they going to always just keep extending?
Yeah,
There's
of
no
course,
ceiling.
until they achieve their agenda. So here's the big question:
What would you say was
what
the
is their agenda? What is their goal? Now the New World Order. Remember George Bush? A new world order.
So how about this? Is the goal to have one global?
Yes.
So are they? So
One
who do
currency.
Who do they want to have? So unifying the world, and it's interesting because that's in the scriptures about when the whole world's saying peace, peace, then comes sudden destruction. So that could be that thing.
They're taking
I don't
Carnegie
tend to use all that.
Coudenhop's, plan for Pan-Europa, and they're expanding that to the entire globe, to all the 5 continents, and that's essentially what their goal.
So
is.
do you see that these separate continents and all that such are going to be
So
unified?
each one will be
I want
have a degree of
decentralized.
autonomy.
I
Each
want-
one, so the United States, or I should say, the Americas will have autonomy to some degree.
Yeah.
Australia will have some degree. Africa will have some degree. Europe will have some degree. Asia will have some degree.
Well,
right?
that's just a
But
certain.
then they'll all be united under centralized authority. So if that's their goal, we all assume that's what they're working towards, right? The one world government.
Well, don't
then-
on some level we're doing that.
We're very
already.
close to that. I mean, look
I
what
mean, the
happened
central
during
bankers
COVID. Look
are-
what happened during COVID, right?
I know, but aren't central bankers
How easy
all
it was.
behind? I mean, it goes
All
like
you do is
right
instill
now.
a little fear in people and bang, that every
I know
fucking
it happens
country
all the time.
shut down economies.
But don't they like the SWIFT system, that's the banking system that's in America, like China and Russia, they don't use those systems and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's just going to be.
Yeah, but look what
but
China
even if,
did during COVID.
but even if
China.
there were three separate gangs, if you will, banking gangs, it's just going to be more of the same, the more crap.
Well, they're going to go towards a crypto.
So, yeah, so
I know they're going to go moving towards a crypto.
Well, they already have
You'll have credits.
cryptocurrency.
You'll just have credits.
Well, that's the thing about the
There'll be no
social
cash.
credit. The social credit.
Sweden tried it, didn't work
Well,
too well because it's a little too early, but they're working.
Monero, Pirate Chain, those are cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have, they're anonymous. That's
I mean, that's the nice thing about living in a third world country. Belize. Some people argue it's a second world country. Maybe it is, but the average Belizean only makes about like maybe $7,000 a year. So, in any event, the nice thing about that is it's a cash society. Cash. Yeah.
Well, there's benefits to that.
Yeah.
When you live in this,
Yeah.
I think the future war, certainly in America, is going to be between urban and rural. Urban's going to empower government, and rural's going to have the food and the arms.
Yeah.
Sad to say.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that. About,
We're talking about people
separating, not having
producing their own food.
Well,
and-
there's that. That's always important. But I was just saying, like the states protecting themselves and having their own state guards and things like that. If a sheriff will secure its county made up of its people, and you have a volunteer people, I think that
State having its
I think
own,
America's going to have to deal with that
its own
and realize
state
that
guard or
the
or
federal
state militia.
army is not doing, is not supporting America.
No, well,
They're supporting the deep state overseas
they're
murdering
supporting
people.
the fascist
So that's not American
government,
ideals.
United States government.
So that's sad. There.
Yeah.
But anyway, so how are we doing?
So how to live free in
we're-
an unfree world? That's the big question, right? How to live free in an unfree
Well, that's a
world.
good thing, because I think we talk about creating our own realities. I mean, you can still have joy, because joy is local.
Sure.
Right where you're with your families, with
Sure.
the people you love, and stay active in that.
Yeah.
Listen,
But
I have all of life. I talk about this stuff all the time. I know that you do and all, but some of this is because this is part of my joy, is to teach and to help and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Look at the
listen, but
struggle.
when we
Look at the
stop,
struggle
I just,
that people have
there's things
to
that I
reclaim
enjoy.
their freedom. It's a struggle.
Oh,
And this
yeah,
is
yeah.
why
Frederick Douglass
what
talked
Frederick
about.
Douglass says
Yeah.
is spot on for anyone who loves freedom and treasures liberty. It's a struggle in this society to be truly free, right?
Well, again, but coming back to what you said
and
about
the love of money, and money is power. The love of money is truly the root of most evil in this world. And money drives everything. I remember talking to my ex-brother-in-law, right? And he worked for a big drug company. He worked for Merck, and he opened his trunk, and his trunk was just packed with drugs, right? Yeah. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm a legal drug dealer." And I said, "Well, how do you sleep at night?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "You know that pharmaceutical drugs are the third leading cause of death in America. Did you know that?" Yeah, heart disease, cancer, drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. It's something.
and probably the heart disease and cancer.
It kills
came
more
from
than
the drugs.
cigarettes. Kills more than automobile
Sure.
accidents, right? And now they won't tell you that if you go to the AMA or one of those websites. They won't tell you that because they fuck with the statistics. But if you put all drugs, all in America, legal drugs, pharmacological drugs, it's astounding how many people die from it. And so I said to him, "How can you sleep at night, man?" He says, "Well, look, I'm making a shitload of money. I'm supporting my family, and if I don't do it, someone else will."
Wow.
And that's the kind of attitude
That's the kind
that
of things
pervades
that the
our country, or our
concentration
nations,
camps are like that.
our states, and our republic. Is that if I don't do it, someone else will. So I'll just do it. You compromise what you believe. You compromise your integrity. You compromise your principles because of money. Money drives this republic and these states.
Well,
it
for-
drives
yeah, for-
America.
for-
Money, and it drives the world. And that's the sad part about it, really.
Right, but what I was going to say was that all of your time doesn't have to be having conversations and dealing with your government. I make up a number that at least 75%. I'm making the number up, but 75%, it may be more of we'll wrap up after that, but we're not going to be tight on that time. But 75% of your life should be in the pursuit of your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a certain percentage of that is about securing your own liberty, of the 25.
Mhm.
And some of that belongs to your neighbor, is making sure your neighbor's liberties are
sharing.
are there too. Yeah. So
Sharing.
so I'm just saying of your time.
Mhm.
You know, so you cannot have no time securing your liberties. You have to do things because there are people that are jockeying for your revenue.
Mhm.
And if you're not interrupting it, or at least saying this is not okay and all that, that's an important
But you know,
part of
most people,
resisting that.
75% of the time is made up working. And the thing is, if
Well,
you're not
that's an interesting
working,
thing. You're
in
working
your
for
passion,
somebody.
if you're not working in your passion and doing what you love, like I do, I'm a musician. I get to play my music as much
Right.
as I want, perform for different audiences every night. I love it. It's my
Well, you're
passion. My wife's a yoga instructor. It's her passion. She loves it. But a lot of people don't. They work in a job because it pays well. And it, pays the bills. And they
listen,
get
our
benefits.
clients,
And
we
so-
invite our clients out of jobs so that you can work for yourself.
Yeah.
And so the beauty, we talk about this too, is about stop being a goose that lays the golden eggs for these corporations.
Yeah.
You know, you can own yourself, in which you don't have to file and pay federal income taxes. You can opt out of being a federal citizen.
Mhm.
And so the beauty of that is, yes, if you get to do your own business, then you get to do your joy. At least try that. Like with this last weekend, you were helping me. We built this grape arbor.
Yeah.
See, you get to do things that you love to do,
Mhm.
and that's part of the joy of your life.
Mhm.
If you're spending all your time in your job, working, everybody's working for the weekend, and that represents the entirety of your life. And then you work this all the way till you're 65. If you can, and if you haven't taken any pharmaceuticals, you might live beyond that, but you're probably going to die soon. And so then you're hoping that you can get on welfare, senior welfare, Social Security crap. You're going to get onto that. That's what you're calling your
And then you'll
future.
be dead.
And you've made no other provision, but you're trusting your pedophile government's going to give you your cookie at the end of your life. How disgusting is
On
that?
average, you'll be dead within
And that's
8 years.
most Americans. Of course, their corporation that they have a pension with, if they're in massive debt, they may not make it. And so, like, what is that really the life God has called you to? That's sad, because
Yeah.
your children and your children's children need you to be out there building them a fort in the woods. You know what I'm saying? You got to be in the sandbox with your grandkids,
Yeah.
and you got to be playing and having a good time, because that's what on your deathbed you'll say, geez, I should have clocked in more. That is
I
not
guess
what
I didn't
anybody
need that
says.
$45,000 car.
It's like,
I
my
guess I
word.
didn't need that, 2,000 square foot house. I guess I didn't
I
need
need a
that
$45,000
$500 phone. I guess I didn't need that $3,000 computer. And then go into debt for it and spend your life trying to pay off your debt. That's the thing. People are sucked into this. We are hyper-capitalism in this country. It's unbelievable.
sad.
I come here from Belize. I go to Belize. I have this little supermarkets I go to. A lot of them are run by the Chinese, so that's a whole other subject we could get into. But you get into this China store and you're looking for some ketchup, and you got 3 choices of ketchup. I'm like, okay, I'll pick one of the 3. And then you want to go get some toilet paper. You got 4 choices. You come here in this country, you go to a supermarket or Costco or whatever, you got a whole fucking aisle of toilet paper. Like, how much fucking toilet paper do you need?
Hey,
And ketchup.
hey,
There
some
must be
people like
there
toilet
must be
paper.
50 different kinds of ketchup. How different can any ketchup be from another one? It's like
Well,
capitalism on steroids.
George Carlin
It just
talks about
drives
that.
me
He says, like, you have
crazy.
50
I'm like,
choices
I
of
want to get back
ketchup.
to my island. No cars, sandy streets,
But I know, but
no paved roads.
How many
Fucking
choices
A, get me
politically
out of
do we
here.
have?
Traffic lights at every fucking corner. It's like, have you ever heard of circles? Traffic circles? Hello?
Oh, you got it.
Don't get me started.
I know, no, but see, like George Carlin was talking about that you get 50 choices of ketchup, but you only have 2 choices to govern,
I know,
politically,
political,
and it's
yeah,
really just
yeah.
one choice one choice.
Yeah, right. That's
politically,
the other thing.
one
Americans
choice,
are so ignorant about
and
that.
that's
I don't
all.
vote for
That's all you
Tweedledum or
have left.
Tweedledum, or I don't have any other choices. Bullshit. You have plenty of choices.
That's
Jesus,
sad.
if we had 10 congressmen or women, congresspersons, who were not Republicans or Democrats, they would create a voting block. They could block 90% of all the bills that brought before the House. You know that?
I know.
90% of all the bills brought to the House are decided by 5 votes. So imagine if we actually got third-party reps in there. They would change the entire, political landscape in this country. But people are so, oh no, I gotta vote for a winner. If I don't vote for him,
Well, we have the
win.
red team and the blue team, and then we have every 4 years the Super Bowl team, so we can elect our Super Bowl president. And he's like, we're going to be here again, And
Lesser
so,
two evils.
what do we
is
got?
still
We got the
evil.
scrimmage down here in
Yeah.
the States. Here we're going to come up to
Yeah.
it's political sports.
Unbelievable. This guy,
It's like, and
this
that's
guy,
America.
this guy, cut my child into pieces, and this one only raped her. So I'll vote for this one because he's the lesser of 2 evils.
Well, It's true.
You know what I mean? What the fuck?
I know that's the way the people
Unbelievable.
They stop. That's why I stopped.
But
voting for
Americans
anybody
believe that
today.
bullshit. They believe it.
I know.
They
think-
public education. Should we get started on public education
wanna-
and how it just completely
It's already
brainwashes
going on
everybody?
9 o'clock. We're gonna start a public education.
Oh man.
Well, hey, listen. On here's what I'll do. We'll call it a night. I got to get home to the missus. I got to go refresh the missus. But the what I will say is that if you leave a message in there, if you'd like to have Greg come back or speak,
We're not.
He's
That's
got more
fine too.
things that you
See, I
can.
don't want it back. He's too
Comment,
disruptive.
you can comment
He's a
that,
radical.
that Greg should get a better shirt to wear on TV. So,
Hey, I don't wear shoes.
He doesn't
so-
even wear shoes. He's not. He has no heat in the trailer. It's bad. But no, if you've enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe. And we're gonna keep enjoying this evening here. So
Love you, brother.
I want to tell
Thanks
you
for
how much
having
I
me on the
appreciate-
show.
I love you.
And
being here.
thanks so much for listening, you guys.
Yeah,
And
you guys are good.
peace and love and freedom and liberty. That's what life's about. Again, love is God.
There we go. Oh, we should get the song here, closing. 1 second. Let's see. All right. Let's see where is it? All right. Ready?
Bye.
Let's see if it's gonna. Hang on. There we go.
Do not wish this life to pass away, but life presents such possibilities each and every day. I heard a calling that was right for me. I prayed for strength for what's ahead of me. You show me the Please show me the way. The sun rose high and burnt the night away. Who stood before me was my enemy. Don't tread on me. He's come to take away my liberties. I'd rather die than be a slave to thee. Don't treat me this way. I'd rather die than be your slave. I will survive. And you feel my rage. It's not a question of being brave. I'd rather die than be your slave. It didn't matter who shot first that day. They killed my brothers, they lay dead by me. We hit them hard, we made them pay that day. We hung the traitors from the highest trees. Mercy from no mercy from me. We lost a lot, our pain was heavy. We sacrificed for God and country. No more color.